thank you for joining me on my channel. We're going to do a build here today. So first, we have these two figures here. We're going to be using a Plague Doctor. He's going to be our hero. And then a Wraith is our villain. So first, I added on some foam to this board. And I'm going to shape it using various tools that I use for clay. I'm just going to get the good shape going and clear that all out. Followed by some plaster. This is going to give some structure along with giving a nice kind of uniform base for the whole piece. After that, I'm going to take some Modge Podge, mix with some paint, and we're going to give that a dappling to give everything a nice base coat of brown. Then I will take a sponge and dapple in some browns, some dirty browns to make it quite dirty. Once that's all covered, make sure to get every piece. That way it's kind of more or less uniform. We're just going to sponge that on. Cool. Also, don't forget to hit the sides. It's always important, these little details that can get away from you. After we touch those up, I'm just going to slab this on everywhere. It's just a light wash of gray paint and some water to thin it out. And then I'm going to take a paper towel and dap off the excess, so that way it just kind of really gets into the creases, kind of dulls everything out. And we'll put some Modge Podge back on the piece, and then, in a way, sprinkle on our static grass. I do not have an applicator, so this is the best we can do. Alrighty, now we have our grass, we can move on to our rocks. Add in some sand here, just give that a little mix. And then once that's nice and mixed, we're going to add it to our base. This middle part is going to be filled with water, so we're going to hit some more Modge Podge. Then we're just going to sprinkle on a dabbling of rocks and sand. Make sure to hit the camera so that way it shakes. And get that all on there. After that's all set, you can just take it and then dump it back in. Try not to get it everywhere, as it is very dirty. Then we're going to put a dabbling of paint on there, just kind of muddy up the sand. Since this is going to be underwater, we want it a little bit muddier rather than a dry terrain. All right, next we have some zombies to make. So we're going to take some armature wire. We're going to cut it to size, as you can see here. And then I'm also going to cut off some thinner lengths to wrap around for the body. So we're going to need to cut two sections, one for the arms and then one for the legs as well. And we're kind of just doing a simple wrap around the body here, kind of getting it to length, also just to give it some, structure. Then we're going to bend the bottom, make a little loop so we can stick the wire for the legs through, and kind of similar fashion, just wrap that around and form the legs, as you can see here. Alright, then we're going to just take some clay and slab it on there, give him some skin as is needed. At least some skin for a zombie. We're going to be fairly skinned for a zombie. Now, we're not going to worry about too much about too final details because these are going to be pretty small. But we're going to get our basic shape here to start off, as you can see. Then we're going to make some mittens for the hands. I'm just going to kind of squish those out, pull off little thumbs. And then after that, we're going to get set with some face. So we're just going to poke in some eye holes, nose hole, little mouth, give him a nice little smile here. He's a happy zombie. He's happy to be here. And so, and all that's left is to cut some little digits for the fingers, a little small. So, like I said, they're zombies, so they might not have all their fingers. Perfectly fine. Next, we're going to pinch off a piece of clay we're going to use to make the clothing. We're going to cover up their shame for at least this zombie and just give them some dress, a garb of some sort. And we're going to rip it, make it look mangled, because, he's been living in the ground until recently, He's not really been taking care of his clothes. And then once he's baked, that's done. And then we have two other zombies that I made off camera. And that's our zombies made. Next, we're going to try to do some fence work. I'm just going to cut a little notch into these toothpicks, kind of give it some definition, maybe, scrape down, make the wood uneven. Then we're then we're just going to slab on some paint and then make sure everything is to size. And then we'll just give that a snip right about there and rinse and repeat. Then we have our bushes. We're going to just take these, put some glue down, then mush our bushes into places that seem like they would have bushes, you know, kind of foliage like material that would be around, you know. Then here are our fences, all glued and painted together, plus some broken pieces, you know, that are going to be scattered about. And we're just going to take some glue in the bottoms of those and just push it right down on the top there. Kind of line it up with the other side. Then kind of one or two broken off but still standing pegs of the fencing here. Kind of add in some character, you know, plus the ones on the riverbed. All right, next we're going to do our gravestones. These are just going to get some gray paint, kind of make them look more gray. And that's about it. Then we'll head on to our wraith. So he's going to get a metallic black base coat. Gotta give him some sheen, really, you know, helps stand out. So it's not such a flat black. And then also give the gravestone a little coat of gray here. And we're also going to hit those with some dark washes afterward, along with touching them up with some green highlights to kind of give him a little green undertone there. And yeah, then he's about done. I did add some green to under his hood and his hand, along with some metallic metal for the sword. Then we have our zombies, who we're all just going to hit with a base green, kind of that sickly green, ghoul-esque green. Then touch it up with a washed out pink beige to kind of give it sort of a fleshy feel. Then we're just going to touch it up with some reds to really like highlight where the wounds and all like the bloody orifices. And we're just going to rinse and repeat for the other two zombies, except for they have garb, so we'll give them a little gray coat, or sorry, brown coating for their clothing there. And then just bloody them up, and that's going to be good to go. Our little crawler dude here is probably my favorite. You know, he's only working half body, but that's not stopping him. Yeah, and just give him this little coating, and bam. All right, and then we're just going to touch him up with some red here, bloody him up. And then after that, our zombies are almost done, but not quite, because they're looking a little too clean. So I'm just going to hit them with a gray wash, really kind of dirty them up, make them look like they've been pulling themselves out of the muck here. As you can see, you just kind of slab it on. It's going to dry up and go down. It's really going to give them a nice dirty sheen to them. And then just our crawler here, who he gets a fair amount. He's crawling through the river, so he's really dirty. Or actually, he'd probably be the cleanest. But either way, he's getting this dirty wash. All right, now on to our plague doctor. So I'm going to use various blacks and browns to coat him, along with little gold accents are going to be for his buckles on his belt and pouch. A little gray here to distinct from the black hood and cape, along then our browns for his inner wearing of his underneath cloak. He's very layered up. You know, back then you had to be very careful. There was a lot of disease, a lot of bad stuff going around. You didn't want to get too close, touching stuff with your skin. And then a little beige underneath for his underdress. Yeah, underdress. And touch that up, a little beige. And then his sword is just going to also get a light coating of a kind of an iron gray. I used a metallic silver and wrought iron to kind of get that color there. And then we're just going to hit his face with a bone white, kind of an unbleached titanium if you have it. Yeah, and then just added some blue for his bottles, and then UV resin and black for his eyes, give him a little sheen. Now we're on to putting the gravestones. We just put some Modge Podge and some of that sand along with a little brown paint and put the gravestones in, make them look they were just dug out of. Then we'll place our zombies. I'm just going to place these in various locations, moving towards where our plague doctor is going to be. Then with him set, the last piece is just going to be our wraith. It's going to be on the top of our hill here, looking very ominous, looking down on his opponents. And then we're going to once again dirty stuff up because it's still looking far too clean. So I'm just going to block the camera here with my hand as I use a dirty wash to just pretty much cover everything in a dark, muddy brown, really kind of just make everything look gross. You know, this is a overwashed graveyard that a bunch of zombies and ghouls are popping out of. So, you know, it was looking a little too clean. And with that, that's the base and characters done. And really the only thing left to do is add our resin. I like to use old containers to mix everything because they are great for that. And we're going to just pour in our resin here, and with a mix of a couple drops of blue and green food color, give that a swirl, and we're going to get a nice mixture of a boggish blue-green. That's going to be our water. Looks nice and gross, just how we want it. Then we're going to slowly pour it over the whole base where our river is going to be. Slowly making sure we're not spilling anywhere and also not covering our zombie or the gravestone too much. And then we let that sit for about 24 hours till it's nice and dry. As you can see here, I've come back to it and it is dried out. Most of the bubbles have popped. It's actually surprisingly clear, which was really nice to see. And so after that, we just have a couple more touch-ups and we will be on our way. So we have some crystal clear caulking here that really makes some good waves or ripples. And I'm just taking a spoon with some isopropyl alcohol to make the movement of the water there. And as you can see, kind of makes it gives some movement to our water here, so it's not just so stagnant. Yeah, and then just a couple of touch-ups, give some life to our zombies here with little red food coloring and UV resin. Give them a little bit pop of color, you know. I know that the blood's old, but still, you know, he was looking a little too dull. So, and they'll have some fresh blood on them here shortly, more than likely. So, you really want to accentuate that blood look. And with that, that's our look. And here is what we made today. I almost forgot to mention we did throw some glow-in-the-dark paint onto our wraith here, underneath the hood and his sword. And yeah, I did throw some on the plague doctor as well, but it didn't really pop. But that's okay. I just wanted to thank y'all for watching my video, and if you want to see more, please like and subscribe. And otherwise, yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day.